Hi, everyone. So I have a testimony on the Holy Spirit. So my best friend Ella and I have been attending young adults for about 8 or 9 months or so, since about winter last year. It's really fun. So we go together and then she drops me home afterwards and then we have a whole lengthy chat out the front of my house for about half an hour or so before I go inside. It's great. Anyway, this Tuesday we did a Holy Spirit practice night, which Edgar led, which was really, really exciting to be able to share that with my best friend. So we did some little activities together first, and we basically just laid hands on each other and just poured the Holy Spirit into each other. And Ella did that to me first, and she noticed very quickly that when she was filled with the Holy Spirit and pouring it to someone else, her hands got really warm. Anyway, Edgar actually then called forward and asked if anyone wanted to receive the gift of tongues. And 3 people came up, and I just turned to Ella and I said, hey, do you want to go up? It's no pressure at all. And she kind of just sat there. I could see the cogs turning in her head, thinking, should I go up? Should I ask? But she just sat there, and I was like, it's no pressure, you don't have to. And I just kind of let it. Anyway, we prayed for those people to receive tongues. Anyway, then that night, she dropped me home. We were sitting in her car, and I was like, something's not right. Something's going on with you. What's up? And she said, look, I'm kind of kicking myself. I didn't go up and ask for the gift of tongues. And without thinking, I immediately was like, well, I can pray for it now. And then I realized, oh, what have I said here? There's a lot of pressure now. Do I know what I'm doing here? And I was like, it's all right. I'm just got to let God take control and he'll bless it with me. Anyway, I just laid hands on her and we had some music already just going in her car. And I just started praying in tongues over her. And basically, my hands started to get really warm as well, and so did hers, like on fire, pretty much burning. Anyway, I moved my hand ended up on her head somehow, and I could just see in my head this like ring of fire around where my hand was sitting, and I was like, well, that's pretty cool. Anyway, I got the song, God often speaks to me in songs, and he gave me the song Spirit Move, and I just prayed those words over her, and I heard her very softly saying things, but it didn't sound like English. She's a very quiet prayer. Someone who's very loud. She prays very quietly, doesn't like to pray very loudly. So she was being very, very quiet, and I was like, don't be afraid. I encouraged, don't be afraid, just let it flow. Don't be afraid to be louder. Anyway, a couple minutes pass, open my eyes, and she's like about to start crying, and she just goes, oh my gosh, Millie, that was so cool. And I started just talking to her about tongues, and I said, don't be worried. Some people don't get it straight away. It's okay if it doesn't come. And she's like, I think it did. And I was like, I think it did too. And so then I was like, well, do you want to have a turn blessing me? And she was like, yeah, sure, I'd love to. And so she put her hands on me, and immediately she starts speaking in tongues, and that was really cool. And she was praying for me. Basically, the past couple of days, I had been experiencing this anxiety thing where before I would go to sleep, I'd see these vile, very visual images in my head that would basically just prevent me from going to sleep because it was so disturbing. And the night before, the Monday night, I actually got so bad that I had to get out of bed and I had to go and get Dad to come and pray for me because it was just so paralyzing. Anyway, obviously I told Ella about that. And so she started praying for me, and she was praying in tongues, and I heard her say the word peace a couple times, and later on she said, oh, well, I was also praying for protection, and I said, you should pray louder, I couldn't hear that. But yeah, so she was praying in tongues for me, and both our hands were just on, our whole bodies were pretty much just on fire, burning, sitting in her car, just sweating so much because we're burning with the Holy Spirit. And then afterwards, we were both just kind of sitting there like, oh my gosh, this is the coolest thing we've ever experienced in our lives. And my favorite part was that she put her hand up onto the windscreen, and you could see the literal heat radiating off onto the glass. And we were just sitting there in awe going, wow, we're not making this up, this is actually happening. And yeah, that night we were both just so full of this immense joy. We were texting each other going, I'm so full of joy, I don't think I'll be able to sleep tonight. This is incredible. I was like, if it wasn't 10 o'clock, I'd be dancing around my bedroom. And the next day, we both just were texting each other saying these little blessings that God was pouring out on us. Like that night when she was driving back to where she was staying, she sent me a voice message going, I don't know if you're still awake, but I got every single green light coming over here. And then the next day we were like, just these little tiny things that were happening that were just God putting his favor onto us. And we were just like, this is amazing. I don't want this to ever end. So it was the most amazing thing we've both ever experienced. And we just keep talking about how great it was over the past couple of days. And it's just such a special thing that both of us will remember forever. And I know Ella's watching this, so I love you, darling. That was cool.
Thank you, Millie. And did you sleep okay?
Oh, yeah, it was amazing.
You had a good night's sleep.
I went to bed at 11. I went to bed at 11 o'clock, and usually that would make me exhausted because I had to wake up at 6, but I was so refreshed and rejuvenated on Wednesday morning, so it was great.
Very good. Wonderful.